Well, I'm Rob Perry. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Albuquerque. And Mayor Barry typically does Friday's Heroes. We do these every Friday without fail. We've missed very few of them. Unfortunately, the mayor has an important call that he has to take this morning. So he asked me if I could be here with Vic Padilla and our Employee of the Week, Miguel Navarrete, to do the Employee of the Week ceremony. Typically what we try to do is find people that go above and beyond their duties as city employees. We all have certain duties and we have to perform them, but it's amazing how often people go above and beyond to really shine both inside their departments and outside for the citizens of Albuquerque. Today for Friday's Heroes with the Albuquerque Fire Department, joining me at the podium is Deputy Chief Victor Padilla. His wife Denise, his son Hunter, his daughter Gia, and he has his families, John and Margaret, his in-laws, and his parents Vic and Mary Alice as well. And thank you so much for joining us, folks. It's great that you could come here and see some of the accolades that are put on your son for the excellent work he does, for sure. And I know you're real proud of him. We are too. Today we recognize an Albuquerque firefighter who was the first to notice a fire at the National Institute of Flamenco building back in December. And it's interesting because it happened late in the day, and I was fixing on going to, I think it was a city council meeting or something going on, and I looked out the window from up here. It's kind of weird. Everybody goes, "What a beautiful view you have." And I go, "Yeah, but I'm always working. I never really get to enjoy it." And lo and behold, that day, it's like this funnel of smoke was coming up. And so we knew there was a problem down on Gold Street area. And so basically Deputy Chief Padilla is being honored for his willingness to take charge of that dangerous fire down at the National Institute of Flamenco. And as a result of his work, we have a great savings to property and potentially lives to that dangerous fire. Vic wasn't even dispatched to the call. That's what it's about, going above and beyond the call of duty. He was working at the time as the fire marshal for the city of Albuquerque, and now has been promoted since to acting deputy chief. And just as he was leaving a meeting, he was driving through downtown, and he noticed a light stream of smoke, and it appeared to be coming from one of the buildings in the neighborhoods down there by Gold. And when he reached the intersection of 2nd and Gold, he saw that the smoke was coming through the roof vents of that flamenco studio. And some of us that work down here know the importance and historical significance and the cultural work that flamenco does here in the city of Albuquerque. It's really a unique institution to here in New Mexico. And they've always kind of survived on a shoestring budget. They're acclaimed as one of the most cultural dance studios in the country and the state, and it's really a gem to the city and the state. So Vic, knowing that people could be inside whose lives may be at risk, he was pretty quick to act. He entered the building and began evacuating people from the strip mall area itself, and was contacting the alarm room to request backup because he realized the significance of the fire. He set up an incident command center and prepared an incident action plan in what would turn out to be a 2-alarm fire involved over 23 units and 50 firefighters. So it was a pretty significant event for a fire incident here in Albuquerque. As additional crews arrived and they began to fight the large fire, they were attempting to save the building, and based on his experience and expertise in fire indicators and behavior, he was concerned that the roof itself began to show signs of a collapse. So he basically called everyone out. They went defensive, I think is the right term, fought the fire from the outside. And as just moments after the evacuation, the roof indeed did collapse. And so, we had savings of life clearly that was demonstrated with your quick and intelligent and skillful actions. The flames were shooting over 50 feet in the air. And then, of course, as officer safety goes, once all firefighters were accounted for, the crews began to battle the building from outside the flames. Took about 3.5 hours to extinguish the majority of that fire. And unfortunately, the flamenco studio was lost, but thanks to the efforts of the firefighters and Chief Padilla, the rest of the strip mall was saved. You have the Gold Street Cafe. There's a great little place to get your shoes shined right next to that. There's some real neat little businesses there. And I figured that whole building was gone, but it was amazing that it didn't. It was contained to that area. Chief Padilla served the Albuquerque Fire Department for 16 proud years. He self-initiated action that saved critical time in this incident, removed people from harm's way, protected property, provided decisive leadership and management and expertise in the fire protection that was exercised that day, and most importantly, he ensured the safety of his emergency crews from any serious injury and prevented any fatalities from the public. So with that, I'm going to call up Chief Downey to say a few words if there is anything left to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. That just about covered it, but to personally thank Victor for what he did. This was, if we have a textbook fire and the way they're supposed to be managed, this was the example. This was the largest fire we've had in 3 years. So this wasn't what we call a routine incident where you might have a small house fire, room and contents. This was the biggest fire we've had since the Gibson fire in February of 2011. So this is what we call sort of a very high risk or low frequency type of event, and those are our most risky. And for Victor to recognize what was going on, the position of our firefighters at the time, to understand both fire behavior and building construction and what was predictable, he made the right call and saved the firefighters that were inside. Mr. Perry's right. The roof did collapse, and there's what we call a hostile fire event shortly thereafter that the firefighters would have been in the path of if it wasn't for Victor's quick action. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep, great job, Vic. And we have a small appreciation token of our appreciation, which is the Firefighters Public Safety coin. And if it's okay, I'm going to present it to your daughter because I know that your children are usually the most important thing in your life.
Yes, sir.
And they're real proud of you, too. So, sweetie, that's for your dad. And that's for you being such a good daughter and Hunter being such a good son and Denise being such a great wife and supporting you. I know that's the most important thing.
And they are, sir.
You bet.
Thank you very
and that's
much.
from the mayor and I. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And
I appreciate
we
it.
think so highly of you.
Thank you.
Let's give him a big hand.
Yeah.
Great, thanks. We'll take some pictures in just a minute if that's okay. At this point, we're going to go to Employee of the Week. So if Miguel and company could join me up here. Great. Well, this week's Employee of the Week is Miguel Navarrete, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Miguel and his accolades in a minute. But I want to thank Vice President and Chief Strategic Officer Randy Woodcock for joining us this morning from United Way of Central New Mexico, Chief Communications Officer Jeanette Miller, and Development Officer Stephanie Kozemchek. And thank you so much for coming with us. And of course, we have Miguel's bosses, Peter Ames from the Information Technology Director, and Mr. Lou Hoffman, who's basically our Chief Financial Officer. This is a great story, too, one I'm particularly proud of and was personally involved in. This basically involves Miguel Navarrete, whose job basically is the web's managing editor within the IT department. And every year, the city of Albuquerque does the United Way of Central New Mexico's charity campaign. And it's very important, I think, to United Way because we're a large organization. We have the ability to reach people that are willing to give. Our employees bend over backwards. They're very generous. And we end up giving about $250,000, slightly over that as a city. Well, the devil's in the details and the hard work of that. And every year, what we have to do to basically coordinate those efforts is to come up with a loaned executive. So we ask somebody from fire or somebody from IT or somebody from DMD, wherever it is, to basically take their regular job duties, put them aside with the approval of their boss, and work on the charity campaign for many months. And as far as how much work goes into that, I think when you're in the thick of doing the work as it relates to getting out to the departments and coordinating, it's probably close to 30 hours a week, and it's a little bit less in between. But most people have plenty on their plate at the city of Albuquerque to work on, with their regular jobs, and it's hard to take on those kinds of initiatives. In this particular case, the prior loaned executive had tried to get out of it, Daniel Haron, for about 2 years, and he had done a great job for us. He really did. And when somebody does a good job, you get voluntold, you're going to keep doing it, right? And this time I had, at this director's meeting, had asked for about 2 months, can someone basically volunteer one of their employees that you think would work well, that would be willing to really volunteer to do this job, to step up and be our loaned executive and coordinator for the city of Albuquerque's United Way charity campaign. And Lou probably remembers it. I mean, it was like, do you guys remember last week I asked and no one came forward? Lo and behold, Miguel and Lou basically talked, and Peter, and they agreed to put Miguel on this project. And I had watched Miguel work since he was a little bit younger. He used to be a reporter, actually, for the Albuquerque Journal. Yeah, and for whatever reason, I'd watched him at a distance through his career, and he'd always impressed me as a really bright, great guy and everything else. So when I heard he was willing and interested in doing this, I really was excited about it. So Miguel took this on, and he was charged with motivating about 6,000 employees in the city to contribute and build on the previous year's donations for the United Way of Central New Mexico. Through his leadership, he encouraged each department to come up with mini campaigns. We do things that are, the traditional bake sales and silent auctions. Every department's, it goes on and on what we do, each department, to try to raise money. And then, of course, we try to get everybody pumped up, excited, and make personal donations as well. We have to all fill out a form and, basically take so much out of our paycheck. And times are tough. And we realize that, whether it's $2 or $10 or $100 a pay period, that's a lot of money that could go probably to your families and everything. So it's tough, but we have very generous employees, and we have skilled people that are able to go out into the various departments and to do a good job for United Way of New Mexico, to let those employees know the good things that you guys do with that money. I mean, it's just amazing, and hopefully you'll have an opportunity, Randy, to come up and talk about that, because it does reach people's lives. You can also give it to any organization as well. It's a 501(c)(3). I've had kids go to St. Mary's, St. Pius, and things like that, so I designate some of my money to go to those schools, which I think is a pretty good thing, because it helps me support the things I want to support. And I think other employees kind of feel the same way. Everybody wants to give. If you can help give in the right area where you have a personal interest, it's even better. So we got some good programs like that. Short version, through Miguel's work, he and the department coordinators were able to raise about $10,000 more than they had in previous year. The total employee-driven donation this year was almost $269,000. And that's a lot of money that goes into people and programs that need it. In addition to the valuable contributions that Miguel makes each and every day through the city, through his regular work in information technology, he's obviously proven to be extremely effective as a program manager, and additional initiatives and duties as assigned and voluntold, right, here with the city. I really appreciate what you've been able to do. It's fabulous, and I think you have a large part in all of the excellent programs and the help that we can provide to people that need it in our community through the various programs. And with that, I'd like Randy to kind of maybe say a couple of words about Miguel, and then maybe Lou as well. Or Peter in that case.
Very good.
Let's give Miguel a hand right now if we could.
Well, I'd just like to echo Rob's comments. To raise $269,000, especially in this economy, is incredible. And all the metrics in the campaign increased this year. What was really exciting to see was, the average gift for the city employees went up over $205 per donor, which is outstanding. The participation increased, and as well as the community fund portion. Those are the unrestricted dollars that Rob had mentioned, support over 100 different nonprofits in our 4-county area. So I think the most exciting thing was when I saw Miguel last week, he said he actually enjoyed doing this. A lot of times folks, and I appreciate Lou recruiting him, but he said it was just a great opportunity, and he really enjoyed working with Stephanie, and that alone says a whole lot. So anyway, I just want to recognize Miguel for all the time that he put into this campaign, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Great job, Miguel. Peter, would you like to say a few words about Miguel? I know you guys are real proud of him too.
Yeah, we are, and unfortunately, he's not the best kept secret in our department anymore in terms of talent. And,
right.
And I knew that Miguel would do a great job at this. He's on call 24/7. He works 10, 12 hours a day on our city website, him and his team, and he's responsible for the most visited website in the state. I mean, the city website is so important. I didn't know how he was going to find time to do this job in addition to doing all that. And when we went and talked to Miguel initially, I was thinking about how do we get to yes. Well, we got to yes just like that. Miguel's one of these guys that after you talk to him for 2 minutes the first time, you walk away impressed, and Miguel, I thank you for the citizens of Albuquerque, what you've done, and thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, sir.
Lou, you want to wrap it up?
Congratulations, Miguel.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to sort of add an emphasis to what everybody's been saying about Miguel. I met Miguel over 10 years ago when he was a beat reporter in Santa Fe and I was on the PRA board. I found Miguel really to be a very constructive, ethical individual. As a reporter, he always played the story straight. I would tell you since he's been here, he's been equally as ethical, but he's also a very modest person. And I think he's just beginning to find out what his boundaries are. This was a good way to test what Miguel's skill set was and to find out how much room he had to grow. And I think you've got more room to grow. You still haven't really found your limits. And we're going to continue to the extent we have the opportunity to test Miguel. He scores high on the measures of initiative, trust, honesty. The kind of guy we want to have in the core of this organization. So I'm very pleased that it all worked out. You certainly didn't disappoint, Miguel. Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks so much. And just a short, small token of our appreciation. We have an Employee of the Week certificate for you, acknowledging your nomination and appointment as Employee of the Week. We also have a letter for your personnel file for the excellent work you did, and this small token of appreciation.
More coffee, good.
More coffee. That'll keep it going. Yeah. But again,
So
thanks
much.
so much. And yeah, we really enjoy working with you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Can I say a few words?
Please,
Thank you.
please.
I just want to note that the campaign wouldn't have been possible at all without the dozens of city employees who come in and assist us with their energy, with their time, and their involvement. They're the ones who reach out to hundreds of other city employees, people who are public servants, who go beyond their 40 hours a week job, and they dig into their own paychecks, and they pledge money for the upcoming year. What can we do in Albuquerque? How can we address at-risk youth, people who are homeless, prevention of domestic violence? And only through them does this work. I also really want to thank Stephanie Kazemchek. Every weird request I had for envelopes or pick up papers or stickers or whatever, Stephanie was immediate there in assistance. This couldn't have been done without Stephanie's work, so thank you
Good
so
job,
much.
Steph.
Thanks to everyone at the United Way of Central New Mexico as well.
Let's give them a big hand for the
Yes,
good work they
absolutely.
did too. Yes.